This is the World Cup with two up front. So we want to ask some true or false questions. Some things have happened, and we are going to test, is it big facts or not so much? So to begin with, Chuck, the first question I have for you is the host nation.
Yes.
Knocked out after 2 games. Is this a big deal, or is it not so much of a big deal?
So I'd have to answer false if I don't think it's a big deal. Okay, so question number 1, false. I don't think it's a big deal because, one, we knew the strength or lack thereof of the Qatari side, number 1. And 2, I mean, if the host nation is England or Germany or Brazil, then you can be shocked. But if they're new to the game and they're about, 15, 20 years old in terms of their footballing growth in that particular nation, well, you shouldn't be shocked. I mean, it'll be news, and the first nation to get knocked out in the group stages after 2 games, the first nation to lose their first opening game, but it's Qatar, end of the day. So I don't think it's that much of a big deal because FIFA have become more generous in terms of where they're taking the game and who is allowed to host, and they're trying to spread the footprint of the game. So I don't think it's a big deal.
True, it is a big deal, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because they have surpassed South Africa as the worst host nation of all time. We do not hold that mantle anymore. It has passed to them. That's a big deal for us. We can celebrate that. That they have done something historical, never seen before in the form of mediocrity. But also, I think it is a big deal because of all the controversy that was surrounding this World Cup. The way to paper over that is to say, have the host nation go far. And you then say, see, this is exactly why we did it.
More money.
So in the absence of that, I mean, it doesn't make the World Cup worse for me. But in terms of what it means for FIFA and trying to manage the issues around this World Cup, and also then on the side of, as a South African fan, having been the first host nation and only up to this point to be knocked out of the first round, now we just hold that with them, but they were knocked out with a game in hand. Whereas we went into the final game needing to beat France, and we beat France.
So are they not the other nation to be outside the top 50 at the World Cup?
Who, Qatar?
Yeah.
I don't care about all of that, Chuck. All I know is that they're out and they don't have a chance before their last game.
Okay,
All right, second question. The world has caught up to Europe and South America, the only continents to produce World Cup champions. And we've seen some upsets from teams from beyond those continents. So has the world caught up?
Man, I don't want to say yes and say true because I think the timing of this World Cup, some players look tired as well. It could be an anomaly. I mean, we only get to test this thing every 4 years. So I don't know if you can actually get a true reflection of if they've caught up or not. But I mean, if teams are getting beaten 6 and 7, I don't think they've caught up because that gap in quality is still there in some parts of the world against some nations. But I mean, that upset by Morocco, performances by Cameroon and Ghana do give you hope. But I mean, Uruguay is struggling as well. Brazil, perennial favorites, and Argentina are still strong, although Argentina is struggling. But their consecutive run of wins say that they shouldn't be struggling, so they're still good. So I don't think it's a fair place to gauge it, and the timing of the World Cup as well. But
So you're saying false?
Yeah, I lean more towards false.
Well, this is going to look like a mess if none of the teams outside Europe or South America make it to at least the quarterfinals. But I want to say true. The performance of the USA, for example, against England, even coming into that game, I thought they were unlucky in the first game to draw. They were very clearly the better team.
Okay,
and what we then have seen from African teams, where I have complained in the past, even watching the AFCON, that there's not many goals that you find in African football. And there you have 2 teams putting 3 past their opponents on the same day. So I want to say true also because the world plays on the same stage as where the European and the South American players play. And I think now they are looking across the pitch and looking at one another as equals. There is no fear, and they play like that, and the results are there for now. And so I want to say true. Okay, moving on to the last question. 2 goals in his previous game, where he goes up then to the crowd and he signals, "This is my house, this is my time." Has Kylian Mbappe proven that he is the best player in the world?
You know what? I wasn't even considering Mbappe a lot when you were thinking, when I was thinking players to shine at the World Cup because I ruled out
Because
France.
you have Dembele as a better player than Mbappe,
Oh,
as per
gosh.
our last recording.
Oh,
Now,
gosh.
speak on that, Chuck. Speak
That
on
was
that.
based on club form. That was based on, at the moment, who do I think is hot? And I said to you that Mbappe is a better talent, but at that time, for
Now,
me,
tell me right now,
Dembele was doing
true or
the
false?
things.
Has he proven
Let me answer
he's
my
the best
question.
in the world?
Okay, so going back to my argument, because I ruled out France as a team to win the World Cup, I didn't think anyone would star. And because I had people like Brazil winning it, I thought, okay, Neymar would star because if the team goes on all the way to win it, surely they must have a star man. Just like Croatia went to the final, Modric was their star man, Modric gets the Ballon d'Or. And the other factor is that I had never seen Mbappe do a carry job for France. Whenever Mbappe scores a brace or one goal, they're winning 4 or 5 anyway. Someone else is always performing. But this game, this World Cup, 2 games in, it's been Mbappe. I mean, they can't say they miss Benzema. It's been Mbappe. They can't say they're missing N'Golo Kante or Pogba because Mbappe's been showing up. Not only is he beating his man, but he's there at the far post, heading in across. He's there shooting and scoring. So he's arrived. True.
Big facts. It is true. I am a Kylian Mbappe fan, just to put that out there.
Yes, we heard that very early on.
But I say true because some of the things that you mentioned, it does not matter who is playing around him. And this is also true at PSG as well. He has some big stars at PSG, don't get me wrong. But for whatever reasons, if you go back to last season, then coming into this season, whenever either Neymar or Messi have been missing, he's been present and he's playing up to his talent. Similarly, when he's out there complaining and moaning like a petulant child that he doesn't want to play in particular positions, he still shows up. And what he's done for France, it's not even just the goals, because I know we as fans are prisoners to the stats that, okay, he scored 2 goals in the last game. Maybe you want to say Bruno as well as the best midfielder in the world right now, which there's an argument, by the way. But it's the fact that he is going in for that goal where the mentality is, I need to be the person who gets us over the line. And it doesn't have to be pretty. I'm going to put it in the back of the net. And he does that. And then when it has to be pretty, he is the guy who's showing for the ball. He's picking it up. He's going past guys. He's running into channels. He's running through people. And he has it in his mind that he is going to be ultimately the decisive factor in the games that he plays in. And that man is an assassin. That's a bad man. And he is the baddest in the world.
I mean, the other thing to add to him is not like a Richarlison who is invisible the entire game and then scores. He's a constant threat throughout the entire game, as you're saying. It's not just the numbers at the end. But, I mean, when you've got like a Dembele, Griezmann, who come off because after a while they get cold, that man is just always firing. So at this World Cup, like in the previous one, this is the stage.
This is the stage. Guys, tell us if you agree with our positions, whether it is true or false that Qatar being out of the World Cup is a big deal, whether the other teams from around the world have caught up to Europe and South America, and whether or not you also believe, like we do, that Mbappe is proving that he is the best in the world.